Hello and welcome back to the Football Chat podcast. It is episode 107 today, where we'll be discussing national team eligibility and whether the rules around players being able to play for different nations to where they were born, whether they should be changed. Now, we've both got some interesting views on this, so I think it's important though to start by laying down the groundworks. What are the current rules of national team eligibility? Now, they tend to be that you can, it varies obviously country to country, doesn't it? Due to citizenship and stuff like that. But I believe in the UK, you have to have trained here between the ages of 18 and 21 or 12 or younger than that, I think. But 15 and 18 might be like that. But basically, you've got to have lived in the country for a certain amount of time to then get citizenship and then be able to play for the national team. So that does mean, of course, you can play in countries you were not born in if you were there for a long time. So, what are your thoughts on the current rule, Harry? Do you think? Well, yeah, basically, what do you think?
I mean, I think there's two things. I think when players play, so when because you can change nationality also through your family and through your parents, and I'm not sure about grandparents, but you can definitely change for your
grandparents as well, because you can get citizenship through grandparents.
So, I think that's fine, because for me, that is you choosing to declare for a nationality that which is your family's nationality. You want to play and do your family's country proud. Because if you're born in a different country to say your father or your mother was, you might want to do your father proud by playing for his nation.
Yeah, just to play devil's advocate, does that though take a place away from someone who was born in that country, has lived there their whole life and deserves a spot in the national side, for someone that maybe doesn't have the same affection for the country, has never been there in actual fact?
I mean, it depends.
I think players should be able to represent the country that they think they want to.
You're right. I mean, they might have never been to the country, but also they might have just got unlucky that they were born while their parents were on a holiday in another country.
I guess you could also make the argument though, the same issues come up when there's a player better than you. So do you then... Because like Jordan Henderson, he might be annoyed that Declan Rice has come across from Ireland, but he might also be annoyed that Jude Bellingham exists. Yeah. Because they're both blocking his route.
Also, if Rice stayed at Ireland and then Henderson declared for Ireland, Henderson wouldn't outjump Declan Rice.
I think Ireland is the biggest sort of... They've got the biggest annoyance around this. There's other countries, of course, that also have problems, but Ireland's is... So I think there's two teams I want to have a good look at today. Ireland and Morocco are the ones that are most obvious. Ireland's issue is that all their players keep leaving to play for England.
Yeah.
So do the rules need to be tightened up?
I think Ireland, though, are a... anomaly. Because it is very rare that you see players stepping up to a bigger nation and playing. Usually, players change their nationality because they realise that they're not going to get in at the nation they're in, so they change nationality to a lower ranked nation or a worser nation. I wouldn't say worser nation, but a worser national team, so they have more chance of playing.
It sort of works both ways though, because if you look at the French national team, a lot of them were born in Northern Africa. And then obviously when their parents or they themselves moved up into France, migrated to France, then
French
they could play for France.
Internationals have declared for Northern African countries.
Of course, but not many people born in France have, but that don't. But there are people that then obviously have family back home, then they can represent those countries. So it does, That's about how. But if you think that you can level up your national side, is that an issue? Because it does mean that these smaller nations do have a little bit of a problem. Ireland would have gone to the last World Cup if they had Jack Grealish and Declan Rice. Now I know they were both born in England, I think, or at least Grealish, I'm fairly sure was, but they represented Ireland throughout the youth team setup, and as soon as they could play for England, they jumped ship. So Ireland brought them through the ranks, gave them time, gave them minutes, invested in them, and then they...
To someone like Aymeric Laporte, who just one day decided, I fancy declaring for Spain now.
Well, Laporte, was born in France, played in Spain for long enough though that he was able to declare. So the rules are strange, but how can you create a rule that works in every case? You just can't.
I mean, because they're all different.
Did you say, you've got to have lived in the country for 7 years, then a 30-year-old bloke could just, like, Ronaldo could go live in Saudi for a bit.
Yeah, like Rice and Grealish, as soon as they hit senior career, which is when you can change national team, they did it. Whereas if you wait until, as you say, you're 30, and just fancy, do you know what, I fancy changing national team just for a giggle. Yeah, you shouldn't be allowed to do that.
And you can't represent more than one national side on the professional stage, I believe, or unless you've got some strange reason for, like, specific reasons.
I think most teams want their, I look at Rice and Grealish, and they do care about England, and they want England to do well, and they do, they feel they want to do their country.
I think
proud.
the thing with that more was that they were in the Irish youth team set up for all those years.
Yeah, but they can't. There's nothing else they could have done, could they?
And then
you can't change nationality in the youth setups, can you? If not, they probably would have done it.
Yeah.
Oh, why?
Well, no, they just didn't get in the England side. That's they played throughout all of the Irish youth setup, and then just moved across to England when they were called up. So does that not create a bit of an issue there? That players could.
But again,
national sides could be planning for.
Went through the whole France and all. French players, French internationals declare for other African countries. African internationals declare for France.
It does work both ways, but does it result in the smaller nations getting worse sides? Because the Ireland team would be stronger with Grealish and Rice. And I don't know which, if any, of the Irish players are actually born in England.
But then, if Ireland want that, then they have to offer a better. They have to offer something that England can't. They have to offer,
how can they?
A better offer than England.
How can you offer someone more? It's the national setup. What are you going to tell them? They're not going to win a World Cup. But surely there should be a mandate that you have to play for your nation. It's obviously very murky waters because there's always going to be ways to get around it. There's always going to be people that feel harsh done by, because if you've lived in that country your whole life, should you be able to represent that different country? But I think the problem more comes when you go, oh, my granddad was born in England, actually I'm going to go represent them now. I think that creates the bigger annoyance.
But again, though, it makes sense. You want to give yourself the best possible chance of winning a trophy.
Of course, so for the players, yeah, it's fine. But does it just completely ruin these small nations? Is it correct? Because Spain and France and England would not be the nations they are without players coming from abroad. If you look at the current England team, I believe, so we've mentioned, Rice and Grealish could represent Ireland.
Yeah.
You've got Raheem Sterling, who I believe was born in Jamaica. Moved here when he was 3, and then he was able to play.
He's 3.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is that you do just create these really good sides. So should it be that you have to be here earlier in life? Because an 18-year-old could move to England, play there for 4 years, gain citizenship, and be able to play for the national side.
But I still think England would be the same side. Because I wouldn't count Sterling, because he's basically, you don't know, you can't speak words before you're 3, so he wouldn't have known what country he was in.
I think you can speak words by 3.
And you can't put a sentence together.
Speak for yourself, mate. I was writing novels at 3.
So, but if you take Rice and Grealish out of that England squad, yes, okay, we lose 2 players, but I don't think it impacts us massively.
Does it not?
No.
Jordan Henderson starts middle of the field for the World Cup, for the Euros, both tournaments.
He's done it before.
Yeah, and we would be knocked out. He did it in 2016, and we saw what happened.
Would he? You'd have. Yes, there's options though. There's loads of options.
Conor Gallagher. Oh, that sounds
James
great.
Ward-Prowse.
No defensive regiment there if you've got James Ward-Prowse, Jude Bellingham, and Mason Mount, Calvin Villa.
Maybe go 4-3-3 with one DM. Yeah, we wouldn't play a pivot if we only had one defensive midfielder. We don't play a pivot because Rice is there.
No, but we played a 4-3-3.
I mean, we wouldn't miss
the other night against Italy, and we had. Well, Bellingham pushed on a little more, but
no, but then you'd just replace it with 4-3-3. It'd work with only Phillips. I don't think it impacts sides massively because that's the thing with England, France, teams like big teams, big nations, is they've got so many players. It doesn't really matter.
Well, it sort of does.
I'd understand if Kane was Irish, or if Mbappe was Moroccan, or if Messi was Chilean, but They're not. Like, they're the big,
Yeah.
big players. Whereas, say...
I can't remember where Mbappe's dad was from. I think it's his dad that migrated from Northern Africa. I can't remember. So I might be wrong there, but I know he could have chosen to represent quite a smaller nation.
But
Obviously he chose France.
I think it does depend. Because if your whole family is from one nation, and you were maybe born in a different nation, I can understand why you'd want to switch. But say you had one of your granddads was born in another nation, and you use that to change nation, that's just a bit ridiculous.
Okay, so grandparents where you draw the line, parents is fine.
No. I mean, like, if your family, like if it's your because if you've got one random family member that's from a different nation and you use that to change a nation, that's a bit ridiculous. If your whole family is from one nation and you're the anomaly, that makes sense why you'd want to change.
But say your dad was born in England but you were born in France.
Where's your mum from?
Jamaica.
Well, that's ridiculous, I guess.
Why is that ridiculous?
That is the weirdest scenario ever.
Why would a English man or Jamaican lady not want to go to...
Where are their grandparents from? Let me guess. Saudi, Russia.
No, Papua New Guinea.
Right, yeah, no, that's just ridiculous.
Why? People can move places, Just because the English all stay in England or
You're
Ireland.
telling me someone from Papua New Guinea and Mexico have a
I've
child
never said
that's
Mexico.
No, I'm saying I just had a child who's Jamaican.
No, that was the other side.
Just rubbish.
But, okay, so let's take Folarin Balogun, for example, right now.
What about him?
He has represented the England national side at all youth levels. England have not handed him a call-up yet, and USA are currently sniffing around him, trying to get him to join their national side. Should he be allowed to do that?
Yeah. He's not going to get in the England squad. He's allowed to give himself a chance at actually playing in national football.
Okay, so then we look at Jesus Ferreira, the current forward for the USMNT. Is that harsh on him?
No, because he's crap.
Well, it's still harsh on him. Put yourself in his shoes. You've been working your whole life to get in the national side, and then some bloke from England comes and takes your spot.
Yeah, you're only in the national side because you're the best player there.
Well, he's definitely not the best player there.
Well, then why is he in the national? That's ridiculous then.
No, I mean he's not the best player in the
No, I mean because he's the best
squad.
option. Because he's the best option striker.
Yeah, but is it so? But it's not. I don't think it's fair then that someone from another nation comes over and just takes your spot.
Right, make sure he's better than him, then, isn't he?
That's just really harsh.
No, it's not. If you want to, you should be good enough.
Okay. Well, so in the situation where Jesus Ferreira can't just become magically good enough, you propose he just loses space in his national side because someone from another country wants to join.
But I look at it and go, he doesn't fit in any other national side. Most national sides have a better player than him. So it doesn't matter.
But why should that?
It doesn't matter. There's one striker that could come in and declare, because if every single striker in the world could declare, he'd be like bottom of the list.
But I don't get why that should matter. The point isn't about how good he is. The point is about where they come from. Should the national side be a representation of players who are from the nation, or should it be just?
Well, it depends. Where I don't know Folarin Balogun's family tree. I don't know where they're from.
Okay.
If both his parents are American and both his grandparents are American, then fair enough. His whole family's American. Clearly, he's going to care about the country.
Okay.
Whereas if he's got a mother from America and a dad from England, and then his family are all from England, then that doesn't make sense, because he's not doing it for America. He's doing it because he wants to start a football game.
Well, exactly. That's the issue. You get people who want to go to different national sides to actually get minutes. Like Inaki Williams played for Ghana despite representing Spain before. He was born in Spain. He played for Spain. But then he was able to represent Ghana at the last World Cup. There's a Ghanaian footballer who lost their spot at the World Cup there because of that. Of course, like Inaki Williams' parents, I don't know whether they're which parents Ghanaian or whether it's the grandparents that are Ghanaian that allow him to declare. But he's played for Spain before. Tariq Lamptey with another one with Ghana.
I don't know what to say. It's just stupid.
What is?
No, but there's positive. That's Simbo. It's positive and negative.
I just want to discuss it. I don't know why you're making it confrontational.
Yeah, I know. I just don't know. But I don't know what to say. It's just like ridiculous. It's just a stupid rule.
Why?
But because if you keep the rule, there's going to be problems with it. If you get rid of the rule, there's going to be problems with it. So what do you do?
I love how I just discovered how life works. You can't make everyone happy, unfortunately, unless you give them all chocolate. Even then you wouldn't, because there's going to be lactose intolerance and there's going to be diabetics.
Well, at that point, come on.
What I say? Hang on, separate point, but you want to kill off all the diabetics and all the lactose intolerant.
No, this is just, I don't want to say, because it's one of those where...
That's just a conversation.
Yeah, I know, but it's going to be a never-ending conversation.
It could be.
Well, there's going to be a bloody
Okay,
long
so
podcast
what is your personal view?
The problem is, I think it's all right to a certain extent, but I can't just go, we'll draw the line at Grandad Joe. I can't.
So do you think it's appropriate that so at the moment each nation can decide on their citizenship? Do you think FIFA should be more strict in that they all have to follow the same system?
No.
Why not?
I really hope you're going to ask me that. Just let them do what they want. If they want to change nation, change nation.
No, but what I'm saying is, should it be mandated by FIFA, the rules in which you are able to change nations?
No.
Because if not, Saudi can grant citizenship to Ronaldo and he can play for them tomorrow. That's an issue, isn't it? That countries can do that.
Well, good for them.
What?
I don't know what to say. Well, Dave, you got Ronaldo now.
Yeah, so that would be a problem, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, for Portugal.
The problem for the fact that Saudi could just pay a load of people enough money and they'd have a national side.
Yeah, but then that's the other national team's fault for not. Why would Ronaldo want to leave Portugal?
Because Saudi are saying we'll pay you we'll give you the country.
Well, then who can compete with money? That's not then. But then that's not a problem.
But that's what I'm saying. If FIFA say it has to be, have to meet this criteria.
That's not a problem with national team eligibility.
But it is.
That is a problem with Saudi paying people.
Do you think that? Well,
what? You can't pay people to live in your country.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's illegal.
I'm not saying they're paying people to be in their country. I'm not saying they're paying anyone, just to put it on record so Saudi don't come after me. But what I'm saying is, theoretically, if you're in charge of the country, you could bypass the rules regarding citizenship because you set them. So you could hand people citizenships and pay them to play for the national side.
Well, then everyone could do that.
No, they couldn't.
Well, if you're the Prime Minister.
Yes, but this is what I'm saying. Should FIFA get involved and say they've got to meet this criteria to be able to play for that country?
Well, no, the game's the game at the end of the day.
The game's the game.
Yeah.
So you're okay then if Saudi Arabia turn up to the 2026 World Cup with this full squad of no one who's ever been to the country?
Well, clearly the actual teams that they already played for weren't, giving them a good enough opportunity. Why would you? But no. But let's go John Stones, right?
He's not going to go, is he?
No. That's what I'm saying.
But why wouldn't Jordan Henderson?
Why?
Well, he's not playing. Well, no.
It's
So
his
someone
nation.
who's not playing for a
it's
nation.
The pride of the badge. Who's not okay?
Who didn't go on international duty? I'm trying to think from the big sides. That just doesn't get in their national team. Stefan Bejkotic. He's a young Spaniard coming through. He's looking at Pedri, Gavi. He's going, I'm not going to get in the team.
There's two midfielders.
Carlos Soler, there you go, 3.
He's better than Carlos Soler.
Is he?
He's 19 years old.
Yeah, but if Saudi go, here's 30 billion quid.
If they give yes, I'm sure any man and his dog it would
That's what I'm saying.
£30 billion
Should that
to
be
play a bit of
changed?
football for it. See, no, because no one in their right mind is going, £30 billion.
Saudi might.
No, they
Well,
won't.
Qatar paid for the World Cup. Why wouldn't Saudi pay for a couple of players? I think the point's been lost in the. I think you've gone mental, but
You just told me that Saudi's going to pay someone £30 billion.
God's sake.
No, as I said, the game's the game. If one country lacks the rules, that's on the other teams to react to that.
What? How could they react?
Lacks their own rules.
But then
Trying to keep their players.
How does that help?
Promise them they're going to get to the
Relax
World
their
Cup.
own rules. Okay,
Promise
so
they're gonna
this
get a
really
start.
promising talent comes out of Nairobi, Kenya. Kenya going, well, we're going to smash it. we've got this really good young talent, and then Saudi go, come over to us. What are they going to do?
I think that man from Kenya would try and get in any national team he could because he knows he'd have no future with Kenya.
That's
whatsoever.
the issue. That's incredibly harsh for Kenya because they can never succeed because everyone will just leave.
Game's a game.
For God's sake. Games.
Well, no, because they can. They can.
They can't because everyone keeps leaving.
Well, there's big teams coming through.
I don't know why I've used Kenya.
There's other little nations that are coming through and putting big performances. San Marino got a team of butchers.
Yeah, what performance have they put in? They've lost every match. They've literally never won a competitive game
They're
of
still
football.
there. They're still in the Euro qualifiers.
Yeah.
I don't see.
But so if San Marino had this brilliant talent rise through the ranks, they'd just go somewhere, wouldn't they?
No, they wouldn't.
Live in
Because
England for
at
a
least
bit.
San Marino on the map.
What country do you think aren't on the map?
In terms of the European stage. So European team that isn't in the Euro qualifiers this year.
What?
No, that's what I'm saying.
There obviously isn't one, is there? I'm baffled as to what you're waffling about.
I don't understand. I don't know what I've been told over the last 20 minutes.
20 minutes in, and I don't know what's going on. But yeah, people in the comments below, I want to hear from you guys.
I think it's fine.
I'm sure this will create a riveting debate.
Let teams do what they want.
Brilliant. Let everyone do whatever they want. Is Harry's message. I feel like that's potentially problematic, but yeah, that's what's happening. That's fine. All that. I think we've far enough. Yeah, we've done a nice 20 minutes. This has been an interesting show. I'm sure you guys in the comments will have a lot to say. But yeah, get your thoughts in the comments below. What you think, whether there should be rule changes. Do you think the rules are okay? Yeah, if you've anything like that. But that is all we've got time for today. Get involved, as I say, in the comments below. Leave a like. Make sure to hit that subscribe button as well if you are new around here. Thank you all very much for watching or listening, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.